Hello and good evening. You're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Hafiz Marzukhi. ERA FM has issued a public apology following the broadcast of online content that caused discomfort, particularly amongst the Hindu community and Malaysians in general. In an official statement posted on its social media platforms, ERA FM emphasized that there was no intention to offend any party. The apology comes in response to social media backlash over content aired by the station, particularly by the Pagi ERA show hosted by Radin Amir Effendi, Azad Jasmine and Nabil Ahmad.
Salam sejahtera kepada semua sahabat-sahabat kami yang sedang menonton. Kami di Pagi ERA, saya Nabil Ahmad, Azad Jasmine dan juga Radin ingin memohon maaf kepada semua pihak berkaitan video kami yang dimuat naik di laman sosial ERA baru-baru ini, berhubung aksi kami yang kurang menyenangkan dan telah pun menyinggung hati segelintir pihak dan juga sahabat-sahabat kami yang berbangsa India.
Dan sebenarnya kami juga akui kesilapan kami serta kegilafan kami. Kami juga akan pastikan perkara yang sama tidak akan berulang lagi pada masa akan datang.
Kami juga sentiasa terbuka untuk menerima segala komen ataupun kritikan untuk memperbaiki lagi diri kami, terutama daripada pendengar setia kami lah ERA.
Betul.
So sekali lagi kami menyusun jari memohon maaf di atas kesilapan kami tanpa sedar yang kami lakukan. So maaf sangat-sangat daripada kami Pagi ERA.
Meanwhile, Astro Audio has suspended the three ERA FM radio hosts, Nabil Ahmad, Azad Jasmine and Radin, following the publication of insensitive content that caused offence and disappointment among various parties. In a statement, Astro Audio also confirmed that two other staff members from the station have faced the same action. The company stated that these measures were taken in line with an ongoing internal investigation. Additionally, the Chief Executive Officer and senior management of Astro Audio met with the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, or MCMC, on Tuesday. Astro Audio has expressed regret over the incident and issued an apology. Former Prime Minister Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob is expected to be present at the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, or MACC, headquarters here tomorrow. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki says Ismail Sabri is scheduled to arrive at the headquarters at around 10:30 a.m. for further questioning. Yesterday, Ismail Sabri was named a suspect in a money laundering probe by graftbusters. He added that Ismail Sabri, the 9th Prime Minister, would be asked to provide details on the assets he had declared in February. The former Prime Minister was questioned by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC for 5 hours last Tuesday. The government has assured that the proposed EPF contribution for foreign workers will not shift the fund's primary focus to boost local workers' retirement savings. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim says the 2% contribution is a minimum rate compared to the practice in other countries and will not burden both foreign workers and their employers.
Kita KWSP dan Kementerian Kewangan mengadakan libat urus dengan semua syarikat-syarikat besar dan juga PMKS. Kita juga terikat dengan PUN antarabangsa artikel 68 Convention 122 ILO, International Labour Organization. Sebab itu kalau kita lihat, hampir 70 negara menggunakan kaedah caruman, walaupun kebanyakan negara meletakkan caruman yang lebih tinggi. Jadi kita menggunakan yang minima, iaitu 2%, kerana kita anggap 2% itu tidak akan membebankan. Dan ini tidak juga mengurangkan perhatian KWSP kepada rakyat tempatan.
Excessive early EPF withdrawals can leave contributors financially vulnerable when they retire. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim says leniency and exceptions can only be given under special circumstances but should not be a normal practice.
Penggunaan berlebihan kerana prinsip KWSP ini adalah simpanan untuk hari tua. Jadi sebab itu, sementara saya faham keluhan yang berhormat, ada kalanya beberapa pengecualian diberikan dan kelonggaran kalau dan ini diberikan, dan banyak kes rayuan khusus itu diberi pertimbangan khas, terutama dalam keadaan keuzuran dan sebagainya. Tetapi membuka ruang yang terlalu luas bermakna kita akan menghukum mereka bila mereka beransur tua dan bersara. Jadi kerajaan kena melakukan keseimbangan ini di antara menyelesaikan masalah mendesak segera dan menghukum mereka mendera dalam keadaan mereka telah bersara, dalam keadaan mereka tidak ada upaya lain.
Domestic violence cases in Malaysia rose to over 7,000 in 2024, compared to 5,507 the previous year. Women, Family and Community Development Deputy Minister Datuk Sri Noraini Ahmad says her ministry will review existing laws to address the rising numbers.
KPWKM peka dengan kenaikan kes-kes keganasan rumah tangga yang berlaku pada tahun 2024. Keperluan pindaan ke atas Akta 521 ini serta perundangan lain yang berkaitan akan terus dikaji daripada semasa ke semasa bagi memastikan kawalan dan tindakan perundangan ditambah baik.
Noraini said her ministry was updating the National Family Policy to better align with modern family structures and dynamics. The government is also focusing on addressing domestic violence cases through cooperation with government agencies and non-governmental organizations via the establishment of a National Domestic Violence Committee.
The Health Ministry is reviewing consultation fees for private general practitioners, which have remained unchanged for nearly 20 years. Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad says the ministry is collaborating with the Department of Statistics Malaysia to determine a suitable price range.
In a written parliamentary reply, Dr. Zulkifli said the review would also consider the impact of any fee adjustments on the Consumer Price Index. The Private Healthcare Facilities and Services Act 1998, Act 586, regulates consultation fees in private hospitals by setting a maximum limit. Medical practitioners have raised concerns that medical practitioners argue that rising regulatory demands, like mandatory drug price displays, are adding pressure on GPs.
The National Tiger Conservation Task Force, or MYTTF, has ramped up its efforts to protect this endangered species. Deputy Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability Minister Datuk Sri Huang Tiong Si informs the Dewan Rakyat today that enforcement patrols have been strengthened to curb illegal logging, poaching and encroachment.
These operations involve multiple agencies, including the Department of Wildlife and National Parks, police forces, armed forces veterans, as well as local communities and the Orang Asli. The National Wildlife Forensics Laboratory has been upgraded as a centre of excellence for tiger conservation, while the Tiger Standards accreditation is being expanded to improve habitat management. To tackle poaching, 189 million ringgit has been allocated since 2020 under the Biodiversity Protection and Patrolling Programme, with 80 million ringgit set aside this year to recruit 2,550 community rangers. Authorities have also reinforced the Wildlife Crime Bureau and Sparta, a tactical anti-poaching unit.
We'll go for a short break. Stay with us.
Kerap menggaru kulit kepala disebabkan keluh mumur, masalahnya lebih mendalam. Gunalah Head and Shoulders menembusi 5 lapisan untuk membasmi keluh mumur dan kegatalan. Bebas keluh mumur sehingga 100%. Head and Shoulders diuji secara dermatologi.
This is digital karma.
Kalau aku tak bunuh dia, kita yang mati. Bukan aku tak sedar. Orang yang aku tembak tu penjahat.
Aku akan bunuh Ibu Sarah. This is what been missing this whole time. They need a face, Iman. You.
One Cent Thief, Season 2. Stream episod baru setiap Jumaat on demand di Astro Citra dan Astro Go.
Welcome back. US President Donald Trump has ordered a halt in shipments of military aid to Ukraine. This follows a tense exchange with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House last week, in which Trump criticized him for not showing enough gratitude for Washington's backing in the war with Russia.
The White House has not provided details on the scope, amount, or duration of the aid freeze. However, according to CNN, one official said the pause would remain in place until Trump determines Zelensky is committed to seeking peace talks. The move comes hours after Trump criticized Zelensky for saying that the end of the war was still very far away. The US has been the biggest source of military aid to Ukraine since Russia launched a full-scale invasion 3 years ago. Its shipments included equipment, financial support, and advanced weapons that has enabled Kiev to strike deep into Russian territory.
Donald Trump's tariffs against China, Canada, and Mexico come into effect today, after the president declared all three countries had failed to address the flow of fentanyl into the US. China and Canada have announced retaliatory action in response.
The new levies see a 25% tariff on imports from Mexico and Canada, along with a doubling of duties on Chinese goods to 20%. China responded immediately after the midnight deadline with additional tariffs of 10 to 15% on certain US imports from March 10th. Beijing also announced a series of new export restrictions for designated US entities. Meanwhile, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said Ottawa would impose 25% tariffs on $20 billion worth of US imports, and if Trump's tariffs were still in place in 21 days. Mexico is expected to announce its retaliatory plans later in the day, with President Claudia Sheinbaum saying her country has already made contingency plans.
Thousands of residents in Japan were evacuated on Monday after a wildfire spread to become the biggest fire in decades in the country, according to a local media report. Aerial footage aired by local broadcasters showed heavy white smoke rising and fires blazing at night from a forested area near the northeastern city of Ofunato.
Firefighters had been struggling to contain the blaze after it first broke out on February 26 due to dry air. Since then, multiple large military helicopters were deployed to the disaster areas to combat the fire. However, waterbombing activities by the Self-Defense Force cannot be conducted at night, according to local fire department officials. So far, Japan's Fire and Disaster Management Agency said the fire has spread over 2,600 hectares of land and more than 4,500 people have been ordered to evacuate. The size of the fire had surpassed the previous record set in 1992, according to the Mainichi Shimbun, one of the major newspapers in Japan citing forestry agency.
That wraps up AWANI tonight. Check out our web portal, keeping you informed on the critical events shaping our world, all in one place at international.astroawani.com. That's all for now. I'm Hafiz Marzukhi. Thanks for watching and good night.
Baik murid-murid, hari ini kamu kena kongsi perkara yang paling penting.